seems like jumping the shark just a tad to me. According to the current gaggle of Democrat candidates and their propaganda arm the American media, the greatest threat to America today is the rise of white supremacy. That if you are a non-Caucasian in this country, you can't get from your house to the grocery store without being attacked, beaten, spit on, fired, banned, or blacklisted by a white nationalist. Gee, you'd almost think they must be wearing a MAGA hat. But let's probe into that one narrative just a little bit further. A rising threat of a violent hate group in America that exacts physical attacks and social punishment, who is protected and enabled by a systematic power structure. Now why does that sound familiar? Let's break it down. In the 1920s, the population of America was 105 million people. At the same time, the membership of the KKK peaked with over 4 million members, or close to 4% of the total population. Today, the population of America is 327 million people. The current membership of the KKK is estimated at 3,000 people, or 0.0009% of the population. This is not exactly an upward trend. Now let's compare this with Antifa, the darlings of the left. Antifa, named disingenuously for the shorthand anti-fascist, Antifa's ideology is rooted in the assumption that the Nazi Party would never have been able to come to power in Germany if people had more aggressively fought them in the streets in the 1920s and the 1930s. Therefore, Antifa ensures that our society not become Nazi-like by showing up to free speech demonstrations with baseball bats, chains, spike rocks, and pepper spray, and beat people senseless, whose thoughts and ideas they disapprove of. This is the group who beat journalist Andy Ngo, resulting in a brain hemorrhage. This is the group that prevented an 81-year-old woman with a walker from crossing the street while screaming that she is Nazi scum. This is also the group responsible for the doxing of many conservatives, putting people's safety and the safety of their children and their loved ones at risk. And how about their numbers? Well, since the election of Donald Trump, membership of Antifa has grown exponentially. The New York Antifa Twitter account currently has 42,200 followers. The Philadelphia Antifa account currently has 15,600 followers, and that's just 2 cities. And speaking of Twitter, the social media giant suspended the account of Ian Linehan, a researcher who mapped out connections between mainstream journalists and Antifa following a mass reporting campaign by left-wing activists. Despite Twitter's rules that groups who engage in violent extremism both online and offline will be banned from their platform, Antifa supporting accounts are given free rein on the site. And that's really no surprise. Those in the legacy media have endorsed and enabled Antifa time and again. Journalists at CNN, MSNBC, and other usual suspects have heralded Antifa as noble vigilantes, fighting right-wing fascism and white supremacy, the fear-mongering tactics that they themselves made up. And what about the media? In 1971, 35% of journalists identified as Democrat and almost 26% as Republican. Today, 7% of journalists identify as Republican. 58% said they leaned somewhat to very liberal, and the remaining 35% were lying.
That's true.
Well, Brandon.
The Democrat Party is no longer recognizable to many of us who used to support them. All focus is now placed on socialism, government control of nearly every aspect of our lives, and the prioritization of their new victim class, the illegal immigrants. Liberals in the mainstream media decry conservatives as heartless, uncompassionate bigots for supporting a border wall. They call our brave ICE agents monsters because they say those crossing our border illegally are only hard-working dreamers, fleeing broken countries in search of safety and a better life. Child trafficking is a fallacy concocted by racists to justify their panic about the inevitable shifting of racial demographics in America. In fact, the U.S. deported more than 256,000 people in 2018 alone, and of these, more than 145,000 were convicted criminals, and almost 23,000 had pending charges against them. Nearly 6,000 were reported gang members. It was revealed that 30% of children at the border who were DNA tested shared no DNA with the adults claiming to be their parents. Democrats and the liberal media now refer to anything and everything that could shine a light on their deceit and corruption as conspiracy theories. Dare to speak of these facts and you will be labeled a conspiracy theorist. Having already made terms like racist, sexist, and homophobe lose all meaning, this is now their new term du jour to paint anyone who challenges the left as deranged. The mere suggestion of corruption by the Clintons or Bidens, the suggestion that social media companies might be a tad bit biased against conservatives, the idea that there is an all-powerful deep state establishment in this country working against everyday Americans, those are just conspiracy theories disseminated by tinfoil-wearing hat rubes like you and Alex Jones. At the same time, they peddle their own deranged conspiracy theories. Russia hacked the election. Stacey Abrams is really the governor of Georgia.
No way.
I laughed every time I read that in my speech, even though I wrote it. Russia is going to shut off the power grid, PP tapes, and Russian collusion, and Russian bots, rising hate crimes, and let's not forget the wage gap. Just this week, Hillary Clinton said, and I quote, "Maybe there does need to be a rematch. I mean, obviously I can beat him again." Again! But don't forget, you are the deranged, illiterate, deplorable conspiracy theorists. This is the gaslighting of the modern leftists. They accuse all others of what they themselves are doing. American wealth and prosperity has become a source of shame for those on the left. Many who have achieved it now turning on themselves. Actress Rosanna Arquette hit a grand slam on Twitter recently when she proclaimed, "I'm sorry I was born white and privileged. It disgusts me, and I feel so much shame." Which then begs the question, who really has it harder now in America? Black people or white liberals struggling with self-hatred? The solution the left has come up with for socialism, the solution that the left has come up with for societal inequities is socialism. But not socialism, democratic socialism, the good kind. Not the eat your dog Venezuelan kind. Democratic. So we'll all vote, baked or fried, before we eat your dog. The newest and most fringe leftist additions to the Democrat Party argue that socialism will work if only we give it a try. And technically they are correct. The ultimate goal of socialism is economic equality. It is not about wealth creation, it is about wealth distribution. So, if we go into it with the expectation that we're all going to come out equally poor and equally fucked, that's a huzzah! And so I ask again, how did we get here? And for starters, the media. I may be an expert of sorts on the manipulation of the liberal media because I am one of their former mental hostages, thoroughly brainwashed by the mainstream media. It's hard to know where the media begins and the Democrat Party ends, and they seem to be spinning in a circular continuum of deception. The Democrats lie and scheme, the media covers it up. The media accuses Trump of doing everything that the Democrats are actually doing, and the Democrats use the broadcast to attack and bolster the legitimacy of their latest attempt to unseat the president. Rinse and repeat.
Rinse and repeat.
But they've been very effective for a very long time. The media is keenly aware of a simple premise. If they can control how you feel, they can control how you think. And the best way to control a liberal is by invoking the notion of social injustice. For decades, the liberal media has managed to hypnotize and control the behavior of their audience by bombarding them with an endless barrage of stories designed to reinforce the narrative that if you are a person of color, an LGBT person, a woman, a religious minority, or an immigrant, that you are at the losing end of a powerful and indomitable system of victims and oppressors. That you are in constant danger. That you are unloved, unwanted, and unfit to have a place on the political right. That the American dream is not alive and well, and there for the taking for you. No, your vote is to be a defensive one, cast only to protect yourselves from the evils of those not on the left. This was a mindset I bought into wholeheartedly. By now, most people know that I'm a former Democrat, a once liberal who escaped the cult. My journey away from the left began with a jolting realization. The media that I trusted implicitly, the media that virtue signaled to me relentlessly that they were looking out for me as a gay man in this country, lied to me about Donald Trump. Specifically, they told me that Donald Trump mocked a reporter's disability, which he did not.
Right.
In my confusion and disorientation, I stepped forth on a mission to try to unravel the riddle of what was truly going on. What I discovered was astounding. Donald Trump did not call all Mexicans rapists.
Nope.
Donald Trump did not mock a reporter's disability. Donald Trump did not attempt to ban all Muslims from America.
Nope.
Donald Trump is not trying to reverse gay rights.
Nope.
Donald Trump did not call Nazis in Charlottesville good people. So the obvious question then becomes, why? Why does the media need their audience to believe these things are true? The answer is simple. The corrupt fake news media exists to keep Democrats in power. In order to do this, they must control the behavior of minority groups. In order to do this, they have to keep us afraid at all times. When the light went on for me, I found myself outraged and isolated. I was an unknown person trying to proclaim to anyone who would listen to me that I had found a glitch in the matrix. I had no money, no media contacts, no political connections of any kind. I was a New York City hairstylist holding on to a very dark and insidious secret. How to tell the world what I knew. Well, God above does not make mistakes. And he knew that hell hath no fury like a gay man's sword by the I would not back down. I would not stop fighting. I would not be silent. In May of last year, I put out a 6-minute video detailing everything I had learned, everything I now clearly saw was wrong and unacceptable about the ideology of liberalism, the media, and the Democrat Party. And I single-handedly took on a mission to create a movement unlike anything that had ever been done before. A movement to break the chains of the Democratic Party. I started the Walk Away campaign.
Yeah.
I love you too. Very
Thank
much.
you.
In Walkaway, real Americans of every background have come together in unity, support, and patriotism to walk away from the lies, the division, the hate, and the destruction to our country and our culture perpetrated by the political left. Those of us who have walked away from the Democrats now see how our beliefs, behavior, and blind allegiance to this party have directly contributed to bringing us here to this calamitous crossroads we find ourselves at today. Being a former liberal and getting red-pilled is like reading a murder mystery novel and finding out at the end that the killer is you. But of course, it is not just the media that has orchestrated the complete mind control of the left. Leftist takeover is everywhere. Education, entertainment, social media, and in the public square.
Yep.
On one side, half the country must make a conscious debate about whether or not to leave their house wearing a red hat with 4 innocuous words on it. Meanwhile, the other half has carte blanche to express their political bias, including saying 2 words, dripping with hostility and contempt on national television. Fuck Trump, Robert De Niro proclaimed with arrogance and stupidity at the Tony Awards, met with a standing ovation.
Right.
It is the manipulation of an endless narrative of social injustice that has thoroughly hypnotized the left, coupled with the relentless messaging that America in its current state and historical iterations is so problematic that the only solution is to tear it down and start utilizing a globalist, socialist model with authoritarian controlled and restricted speech and the extension of ideas that do not align with this agenda. And this is why they hate our president. Donald Trump saw so clearly what so many of us could not, and what so many of us still can't. He saw our country and our freedoms being chipped at and sold away, and he decided to stand up and fight for those who had nobody else fighting for them. Since President Trump was elected, 6.5 million jobs have been created, including 500,000 manufacturing jobs. Unemployment dropped to 3.5%, the lowest in 50 years. Under Trump's leadership, Congress instituted the highest military pay raise in 9 years.
Facts matter.
By the end of the year, it is anticipated that 450 miles of new border wall will be completed. To date, 66 miles of new wall have replaced an old and ineffective barrier, resulting in a 56% decrease in illegal migrant crossings.
Yes.
President Donald Trump signed an executive order aimed at ensuring colleges uphold free speech by threatening to withhold billions in research funding to those who discriminate against conservative speakers, saying, "My administration seeks to promote free and open debate on college and university campuses." President Trump has nominated, and the Senate has confirmed, 2 Supreme Court justices, 43 Circuit Court justices, and 105 district judges who have all vowed to uphold the U.S. Constitution. Trump's leadership led to the swift obliteration of ISIS, and his support of Israel is unparalleled. In 2016, Donald Trump crushed a candidate that was considered unbeatable. He beat Hillary Clinton by 77 electoral votes. He took the presidency by a landslide, and he won without much of the black vote, the LGBT vote, the Jewish vote, the Hispanic vote, and he will win again, even without those groups. And he will win again, even without those groups. But think about this. President Trump knows he can win without having to pander to minority groups. But every time he comes out on stage, he announces with great pride that African American unemployment is at an all-time low, Hispanic unemployment is at an all-time low. He has recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. His administration has set out on a mission to decriminalize homosexuality across the globe and eradicate HIV in the United States. This is not a president who panders to minorities because he needs them. This is a president who serves minorities because he loves them.
Yes.
Loves this country. We are all in this together. When any among us in this country falls, we all fall. It's time for Americans to move forward together in unity. In the Walkaway campaign, I have never told anybody joining our movement what they need to believe, who they need to vote for, or what party they must join. I don't tell people what to think. I only tell them to think, critically and independently. To not be pigeonholed by your race, your gender, your sexual orientation, or any other superficial factors that the political left uses to define us. Walkaway is a journey, not a destination. My goal is to wake up Americans to see the truth for themselves and to arm them with the knowledge that never again will anybody in this country walk away from the left alone. Leading the Walkaway movement is the greatest honor of my life.
Wow. Doing an awesome job. Yeah.
Doing amazing blowouts and being a wizard with a curling iron hardly screams most qualified to liberate America's and liberate minorities from a brainwashing cult. In fact, it sounds more like the plot of a terrible movie, co-presented by the Hallmark Channel and USA Network. And yet, you've placed your trust in me. You've supported me. And that has been everything to me.
We're with you.
My very small and very hardworking team carry all of you with us day in and day out. We are determined to never let you down. What started as a movement of one is now known across the nation and many countries around the world. Tens of thousands of testimonials have hit the web from Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, Muslim, white, men, women, LGBT, telling their stories of why they can no longer be a part of the hateful, divisive left. And lifelong conservatives and Republicans also make their testimonials, reclaiming the narrative of what it truly means to be a conservative in America. It's not about racism, bigotry, or xenophobia. It's about the fundamental belief that we live in a free country with a dream that has burned and shined brightly, even in our darkest hours. This dream is alive and available to anybody who wants to join us and be a part of this amazing nation. We want Black people, brown people, LGBT people to walk away from the groupthink and victim mentality of the left and join us here at the table on the right. There is no such thing as being a victim just because of who you are. We all start at different points in life. We are all responsible for our own outcomes. Regardless of your skin color, your gender, or your sexual orientation, the only person who can ever hold you back is you.
Right.
True.
Walk Away now has 500,000 strong who have joined our movement on all social media platforms combined. Those who walk away and those who walk with those who walk away have rediscovered civility, compassion, and respect. It's a slice of America exactly as America should be. In just one short year, we have seen tens of thousands walk away. We held that Walk Away March on Washington just before the midterm elections in 2018, which earned us a presidential tweet of congratulations by President Trump. We have crossed the country doing walkaway town halls for minority communities, live speaking events, and next week kicks off our college campus tour.
Awesome.
We provide voter registration at all of our events, and we have successfully changed the voter registrations of dozens of attendees away from the Democrat Party. With strong support to grow our organization, we know that number could become thousands. We have created our own educational video series, The Hard Truth, dedicated to debunking liberal media lies and myths and leftist propaganda, and addressing the issues most affecting our country today. These can be found on YouTube for free. In addition to our numerous town halls for Black and LGBT Americans, next month we will launch our very first of many Walkaway Hispanic Americans town halls, taking place in District 14 of New York, otherwise known as AOC's district. The month after, we will launch our very first Walkaway Jewish Americans town hall. And the month after that, our first Walkaway American Women's Town Hall. For those of you ladies out there who are sick and tired of being represented by third and fourth wave feminists and are ready to get rowdy about it. We have so much more to do. We are not going to stop until we have woken up every American under the spell of the liberal left and get people thinking for themselves and voting based off of their best interests, not their identity, and we are going to wake up those on the right as well. The era of the silent majority is over. It is time for the silent majority to become unsilent. We must speak up, step up, and fight for the soul of America. I'm going to fight as hard as I can. America is in peril, make no mistake, and it is up to you and me to rescue her. Recently, Walkaway was described as one of the most important pieces on the chessboard to take America back from the left. I implore you to support us. What we are doing is so important, and this is our last chance. We are at a crossroads to save this country. We need your help, and there are numerous ways in which you can support the Walkaway campaign. I'm proud to announce several things here tonight, so you're the first steps today. You're the first to hear several of these announcements and a very special presentation at the end. I'm proud to announce that the Walkway Campaign is now an official 501c3 organization. The Walkway Foundation is dedicated to our educational resources for Americans. And we have our newly formed, you're the first to hear, Super PAC. The Walkway Campaign PAC, or WAC PAC. So that we can get deep in the trenches fighting the Democrat Party. And the first activity of the Walkway Campaign PAC, the first that I'm going to announce, there will be many in between. You're about to find out today for the very first time. I have a visual presentation to give you right now. It's very, very short. I'm very excited about it. My team and I give this to you with so much love, and we want to see you and everyone else you know there with us next fall. Fonz, can you please roll tape?
Passivity got us here.
Today, I'm announcing the House of Representatives moving forward with an official impeachment inquiry.
Complacency got us here. Silence got us here.
The world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change.
No more. It's time for the silent majority to become unsilent. Coming in the fall of 2020, Walkaway Campaign implores you to take a stand, to come together in unity and fight back against the lies, the division, and the hate with love.
Once upon a time, I was a liberal.
This is our last chance to save America. Walkaway Campaign presents the Unsilent Majority March on Washington.
They're giving me my Oscars exit music. Hold the phone, Fonz. Hold the phone. I am wrapping up, don't worry. So listen, folks, I mean it when I say, please step up and support the Walkaway Campaign. We have existed thus far and done this much work purely based off the grassroots donations we have received from hardworking Americans who have dipped into their grocery funds. We get $5 bills sent in the mail to us from people who say, I'm elderly and on a fixed income, but I want you to have this because this is how important I think that this is. There are a lot of you out there who can do a lot better than that, and you're not doing it yet. Now is the time. Step up and support us. WalkwayCampaign.com. Yeah. And with that, I ask you to please go out to our booth right outside, get some literature, get some information about us, share us with all of your friends, and I have two last words for you.